Bring it on in. The brakes are spongy. Yeah, we'll have to look at that. Good morning, welcome to the JeepSolid garage. So, Sasha got a package in the mail.
So the people from JeepCables.com saw the news video of us buying this and saw that the battery cables look kind of old and nasty, so they sent us some new ones.
So these Jeep cables would be a great upgrade for her Cherokee. You can run into a lot of trouble with your electrical if you have corrosion, bad connections, that kind of thing. So these heavy duty cables will be an awesome upgrade. Super easy project. We're gonna whip this out real quick. Sasha's gonna do most of the work, so let's get to it. So this kit includes everything we need with the negative cables, positive cables, new clamps for the terminals on the battery, new fuses, and the super cool thing is they label everything for you of what goes where. Like this is labeled the PDC, this goes to the fuse, so each end is labeled so it makes it super easy. So we're going to be replacing the cables here, the negative cables that are going to the grounds, and of course the positive cables going to the starter and alternator, and then the engine ground as well. We're going to start by removing the negative terminal first. And as so that looks loose enough, go ahead and pop it off there. And when you're wrenching on a negative terminal like that, be sure that your wrench doesn't ever touch any other metal, because you'll short it out. That way you'll complete the circuit and you'll make things go boom.
Okay.
Yeah, so get that completely off and kind of tuck it back away somewhere. And then take the positive terminal off. Heavy?
Yes.
So next we're going to go along and we're going to replace cables one by one just to make it easy.
Are we going to have to take this electrical tape off?
Yeah, we're going to take that tape off. We're going to take these wire looms. This is called a wire loom. So we're going to take that kind of stuff off.
Why are these ones so much bigger?
They're just heavier duty. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. This one's a lot thicker than this one.
So yeah, let's go ahead and do the negative terminal here. So this obviously goes to the fender here, right? We're going to take that bolt out. And then this one here goes over to the engine block.
It's too small, it doesn't fit over it.
13 millimeter fits?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the negative cable to the engine block. So we're going to take the black cable off here. There's another cable underneath here. Make sure that stays on. And we're going to make sure all of our connections here are very clean before we put our new cables on. So we have to make sure the ground to the fender here, that it has a clean ground to bare metal. So there's all this paint on here. We got to get all that paint off. We had a terrible ground beforehand, so we're going to clean that up a bit. There we go, lots better. Much better connection because so our whole electrical system here, the positive and negative, if you have a bad connection on any of those parts, it's going to interfere, like your circuit's not going to be complete. Mm-hmm. If the circuit's not complete, then the electrical on the Jeep doesn't work. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's why we have to have a good ground to the fender there. So clean metal, good ground, it's much better. So we're going to actually put a little bit of dielectric grease on the terminals, actually on the connections here, on all of our electrical connections. So just smear it all around there. Just a real thin layer just to prevent any corrosion. So engine block and battery. Now we've got the firewall to cylinder head.
Then from here to here.
No. This is the firewall. Okay, between the engine and the cab. This is the firewall. This is the ground to our engine. And this goes down to the cylinder. This is the ground wire right here. And it goes down to the cylinder head, which is the top part of the engine. On the very back of the cylinder head, there's a stud bolt. We'll take the nut off of it, and that's where it goes. Okay, you're going towards the firewall. There you go.
That's my funny bone.
No, take the woven ground off the nut down there. Right down there.
Way down here.
Yes, there. Take that guy off. And then we're going to unbolt it and take that all the way out. See, with that extra bar, you have more leverage. Alrighty, so that is all of the negative battery cables. Got those done. Let's move on to the positive cables. So we got ones going to the alternator, the starter, and the power distribution center here, the fuse. So let's get those done.
Okay.
We're doing PDC to battery, so put the PDC side on there. Next, PDC to fuse, because this line here that we're replacing, this wire, it does go down to the alternator, but it has a built-in fuse in it,
Okay.
where our new fuse is different,
It doesn't have a built-in fuse?
a little higher quality. All right, we got the fuse installed, so we're gonna actually just zip tie this right down here on the wire loom. So that wire goes down to the alternator, and the alternator is what generates the power to charge your battery. So next we are removing that guy right there. So the alternator, yes, it charges your battery, but it also powers everything else while your car is running. While your car is running, it's not necessarily drawing its power for everything electrical from the battery itself.
Okay.
So this is the one modification we have to make to this kit. This terminal does not fit, or this cable does not fit on the terminal there. We're gonna have to shave off just a little bit on each side of this cable. Alright, so we got it shaved down, and actually took the cable off and hit it on each side here with a hammer a little bit because even the wire here was a little too thick, but now it fits on the alternator just fine. Alright, last one. Battery positive to starter. Oh, where's the starter? There it is. We get to crawl underneath. Alright, so there's one little bracket. Where's the bracket we gotta take off?
Here.
One little bracket right there. And then the positive cable attaches to the starter right there. So we're gonna remove that, okay? Alright, somebody got a little dirty and had to go get cleaned up. Why don't you grab the battery, we'll drop it in and test it out. Alright, we got the positive and negative battery terminals hooked up. These guys are even labeled neutral and positive. We got the fuse hooked up, and we actually just have it zip tied nicely out of the way on the wire loom. You can mount that however you like. Alrighty, we got everything out of here, every wrench, rag, double checked, right? Mm-hmm. And we're gonna give it a try, start it up, and see how this goes. Alright, good job! So yes, I talked to her about starting a vehicle in a closed garage. The fumes are toxic, you can't do that. We started it just for a second, just wanted to test it out though. We'll open the garage door, air it out in here, but So now we got a whole new battery cable set, new electrical to the starter and the alternator. So it should be great to go now. Shouldn't have any connection issues.
Yeah.
So job well done.